All right, morning guys. Just let me know you can hear me, that the mic's clean. Hopefully the delay is better today. If it's not, please let me know and I will try and fix it again. I might even just log off now and fix it. Hey guys. Just let me know. Absorptions buyers NQ. Is the delay any better? Wow, it's still 20 seconds even after I did everything. That is annoying because I changed the advanced settings so that it was 0 seconds. So it must be something YouTube's end. All right, let's continue for now. I'll call price ahead and we'll try and get it fixed again for tomorrow because that is far, far too long. So higher time frame narrative then. All right, let's just look at this chart here, which is the H1 chart. All right, we have built volume up here at the highs. If we look at the daily chart right here underneath, all right, that volume has been built into the 20 days. So when we think about how the market moves on a daily, let's just move this up so you can see it. All right, on the daily, we have moved from the top Bollinger Band through the 20-day with a 5-day cross to the bottom Bollinger Band, back to the 5-day, back to the 20-day. Right, this is a very common mean reversion setup and trade. This is how the market likes to move. So the question now is, if we are going to start to drive upwards, all right, we would be looking for this 5-day to start catching up and create bid support through this 20-day before we drive back up to this Bollinger Band. We have on the daily come into a level of supply. All right, if we think about how the market moves, it ladders down as such, and then we had that big drop. All right, so this is the base. All right, when we think about a drop-based drop on a daily time frame, this is the base of that drop-based drop. So we are expecting some pressure here on the daily. All right, people will be taking money off the table on this drive into these levels on the daily, because this can still be, all right, a lower high creation here and a lower low. All right, so that's the big question. Are we going to continue lower and seek all this liquidity down here? Or is this a pivot, all right, and we're going to get above this and start grinding up? We do not know. We do not know. It is not clear. What is clear is that the market did a very big push yesterday. If we then zoom out a little bit, all right, we can see some clear levels that the market might want to target. So if I just use the H1, make sure you can see all this. All right, this red box here, all right, we have a lot of stops from all these sessions here, 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 here. Okay, so sell stops are right here. So if we can drive up, all right, we will steal all this liquidity, and then we can decide if it's going to base and come up, or if that's the steal of liquidity for the return back down. That would be a huge cup all the way up, all right? So those are the potential things that we're looking at today, all right? We also have to think about structure. If we zoom out, all right, the only real good piece of structure is down here. This is our breakout level that we never really retested. Okay, so we are far, far away from this breakout level. So if we do a flag, this would be a 50% pullback. This right here is the anchored view up off the low, all right? So if we can retag that, that would be fantastic. We have to be very, very cautious in these areas here, all right? Because we have Asia and London there, and we are expecting chop after such a big move. So maybe we trap, maybe we roll, maybe we get through, base, extend. Those are literally the three plays. You do not just want to be participating in this chop early doors, all right? Because the market, as we always talk about on this stream, the market will need to build liquidity for the next move. When it's done a giant move up, all right, all those shorts who were stuck in that move, they got blown out. Bulls joined that move, we got a huge 700-point move. Are you just going to buy the highs of a 700-point move? No, you're not. You're not going to do that. So they need to create liquidity. The best way to create liquidity if we're going higher is to let shorts re-enter the market. Let them get comfortable. Give them some patterns where they feel comfortable that we're going to move down, and then hold the bids on those patterns, start reclaiming price action, force the shorts out the market, and then we get upside. The opposite is going to be said, all right, if we're just going to trap in these levels and all the buyers who came in late in the day are going to get stuck, shorts are going to take them out of the market, move down, then maybe the shorts get trapped and we come back up and we use their stop. So we're looking for both plays both ways today because we are in a liquidity build stage. All right, right here we are in a liquidity build. The reason for that is we are stuck right now between the lower time frame algo and the higher time frame algo. All right, so this is our area that it will want to build liquidity in. Flow zones are pretty much flat. Yes, they are red, but we are pretty much flat. And we have a VWAP up here, and we have previous day high, all right, and previous day close. So there is lots of higher time frame levels sat right now in this area. So at the moment, we're trying to apply pressure to that. Maybe it goes downside, maybe it bases and uses it. For now, I am really not interested in a trade. I took a trade in the room today for this trap right here. All right, once we came underneath this and we inverted this, I got long for a push up and I sold. I was not willing to hold unless it squeezed straight through. So right now, we just have to have some patience. As I say on the stream, not every single stream is going to be like yesterday where we have a huge amount of momentum to one side. Right now, the market is going to need to build the liquidity out to do anything else, okay? So the possible plays here, possible flag downside right now, lower time frame, possible inverted head and shoulder, lower time frame, okay? So we don't know, and it is without a doubt not clear. It is not clear. What I would say is we've had upside pressure, and for me, it is due a big pullback, and it will still be bullish with a big pullback. But the daily, like we talked about, might want to produce a lower high. All right, the daily is yet to flip bullish. So the daily can still be bearish, whereas the H1, the H4, the M15, etc., they are all starting to look bullish in terms of structure. It doesn't mean I'm buying now, but they're looking bullish in terms of structure. So ideally, I'd want to see price come all the way back down into 18,900, something like that, or maybe even that previous low, 19,150-ish, somewhere around there, the old point of control, the old highs. If we can come into those levels and I see a bullish structure like a W or inverted head and shoulder, then maybe I can think about getting long. If anyone has any tips on how to sort out this stream so it's not so delayed, please let me know. I set everything up last night so that there was no delay on the stream. So unless it hasn't saved those seconds. Yeah, so stream delay my end is saying 2 seconds. And it clearly isn't. So maybe it's a YouTube issue. If anyone has any ideas about that, please let me know. In fact, I just brought it down to 1 second, which is the lowest I can do. See if that helps. Have a look inside of YouTube, see if there's a way to sort it. But today is going to require some patience. Just trying to see if there's a way of fixing this. All right, so we're just in the middle right now of the initial balance. There's no play to be had here right now. No reason to be taking a trade in the middle of this initial balance. Right, 20 minutes until it's set. We are underneath the IB, we're underneath VWAP. ES is showing relative weakness. All right, that really started to break down much heavier. We have VIX, which has been trying to curl. We talked about it in the room. It's trying to reclaim some of the flow zones and curl, but it did just get stuffed against yesterday's IB low. But I'm just going to wait here. There's no setup here for me to take right now. Okay, I might have found a way to fix this. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to fix this stream so it's nice and quick. All right, so there's the push for the inverted head and shoulders. And ES is starting to reclaim VWAP now. All right, ES is starting to reclaim VWAP. We're creating a new initial balance high for now. You can see we are through these previous day high levels. So the next target, if it's going to take it out, is going to be the overnight highs and into that 20-day. That 20-day is going to be key. I'd say this 8:30 high on that news candle, right, this is a PPI candle, will be the liquidity. All right, so if we are now starting to create a trend, if it can sustain above this, drive through the PPI, then we have a chance to break out over that overnight high, London high, and we can think about a drive upwards into those higher time frame supply levels. And ideally, if it really wants to get bullish today, we're going to see a move towards 700. All right, 700. This is looking good now. So maybe shorts did get stuck. And maybe we get the development of a trend. We will not know truly for another 15 minutes if we get a true development of a trend. But now you'll be looking, does it hold the previous day high here? Does it hold previous day close? Does it hold your VWAP? ES is still lagging. All right, Amazon's still red, Meta still red, but the rest of the Mag 7 are green. Apple through that 220, which is absolutely key. Nvidia approaching 119, so 120 on Nvidia will be key if it can get through that. Tesla coming into 230, Google 155. All right, so can tech become bullish? Can we hold these key levels? Can we hold these key levels? All right, something like this, and we can start to expand. Once we get through all of this, if we can base above, then we can develop a trend for the day. That would be a much easier trade. VIX now approaching its low, so it got stuffed on yesterday's IB low. It is approaching its low of day. Breakdown under that will add buying pressure in the market. So for now, we are holding that previous day high, that red line. Okay, so we've printed a buy signal, lower time frame here. We are starting to move trend bullish. Nothing confirmed yet. It will be better on an expansion. All right, it'll be much better on an expansion. Really just want to see this pop straight through and get going. It's really struggling to do that right now. ES starting to go now though. ES looking really strong. So maybe ES can come up and tag that 830 candle and the 20-day, and then we can start to get bullish for continuation. Here we go. So we're starting to look good here. Very nice drive from ES. VIX, if VIX takes out 1750, we can be very, very bullish on the day. We will just wait now to see if we can just get some expansion in here where all the clouds start to create room between them. That's when we're going to get a very nice bullish trend. I can go down to a 1 minute if you prefer. All right, so here's your buy signal. As we flipped, we are now bullish. So next stop, we've now taken out PPI candle. We are now looking for the Asia London high, and then we'll be looking for this 20-day. You have to be aware of that 20-day. That is the end of a mean reversion. All right, I think we are bullish on the day. If we can base above here, we have a shot towards 700. But like I said, you have to be cautious because of where we are on the daily. The next daily block out of those 2 daily bars, let's have a look right here. Okay, the end of that wick is about 380, and then the open of the candle is about 425. So 380, 425 will be areas of interest I am looking at based on the daily chart and the daily candle from, I think that's August 30th. Yeah, so we've now swept. Did we sweep this? Asia high still intact, or London high, sorry. Very close. I expect us to take that out. I expect us to get through that orange line ideally. Make sure all the shorts from London are out of play. 10 minutes until the initial balance. Take your time today, guys. You've got lots of time to make some money today. Don't be forcing anything. We talked about it in the room. The plays we were looking for, it's either going to give a deep pullback, an even deeper pullback, a trap, or it's going to do a breakout retest. Okay, if it fails to break out, then we can expect more range. Right, if it fails to break out, if it does something like this, right, then we're just going to do this all day until it's ready. So don't be longing up here. You will need confirmation on a breakout retest. When it's ready, we can start providing a trend. Okay, so maybe early signs of a channel. Something like this. And if we're looking for a parallel, maybe it's right here. Okay, so we can think about something like that, but nothing's confirmed yet. There's only 2 touches. So now we've taken, although just by a tick or so, we have taken out that London high, so I can remove this now. They're adding liquidity on the book into that 50, right, where we just tapped. Might be some games here into the initial balance being set. Let's see. Remember, on the hourly chart, we have started to build a lot of volume up here. So your point of control up here is at 80 to 80-ish. Right, so you want to see bid support at and above 280-ish. We start to lose that, you've got to think the bulls above here get in trouble. But so far on the hourly chart, the flow zone's held. All right, on the hourly chart, down here, we dipped into the flow zone momentums and we held. We're back above the point of control and we are looking for expansion upside right now. A long day of trading ahead. Range is still big. I know we're in consolidation, but some of these candles are still big. You're talking 50-point candles on some of these guys. So just be aware of your sizing. Understand where your stops are. Make sure you use hard stops. If you're not using a hard stop and you're mentally thinking you're going to stop out on 20 and you have to stop out on a 60-point flush or a 60-point rip, you're going to be very upset. Use hard stops. They're there to protect you. Okay, so pushing up here. All dips currently holding. So I would really like a large move up and a breakout and then a retest. Something to provide some solid structure here where we can base above that overnight range. Right, if this was the Wyckoff theory, all right, if this was effectively a spring and a trap, I want to make sure we're not doing the same here. So above here would be really nice. Otherwise, we're going to need to retest down here. All right, so 5 minutes until the initial balance is set. We will be looking for dips to hold into these zones. If they do not hold, right, then we have to understand we are going to be inside the overnight range, inside the initial balance, inside choppy price action. Right, just to give you the line chart on the Qs. Right, this is effectively overnight. So really you need these kind of levels to be basing out for confirmation that we can continue upwards. Otherwise we are going to reprice some of this. Again, flow zone's holding there. That's a really nice signal. I'm going to give it 5 minutes. I really want to see where this initial balance gets set and then see what we can do for the last half an hour of this hourly bar if we can get that expansion up. What I don't want to do is get trapped trying to buy up here before we've had a breakout retest. It's the one thing I don't want to do. That's why you don't buy highs and you don't short lows. So we will be looking for bullish structure until proves otherwise. All right, same as always. We're looking for bullish structure. We're looking for traps. We're looking for breakout retests. If the initial balance gets set like this, all right, and we do this, then you need to be thinking about potentially range rotation to VWAP. If we break VWAP, range rotation to the IB low. All right, if we get pinned in, then we will build liquidity in between here until there's sufficient liquidity to do a bigger move. That is all the market is trying to do. It will want to move directionally, always the market. The only time it cannot do that is when there's a lack of liquidity to do that. That doesn't just mean a lack of buyers, that means a lack of stops. All right, stops are what make us move more than buying pressure. All right, if you've got shorts in the market who are stuck, like yesterday, you get giant moves. If you get longs in the market who are stuck and we get underneath their entry, you will get giant moves. So inside ranges, all right, inside ranges like this, we have lots of stops being built. But we will respect this. We are in bullish for now. There's still a seller on the tape at 55. He's been there for a while looking to get filled. 86 contracts. If he's scattered around, then it's about 120 contracts. There's a seller right underneath him that looks like the algorithm just trying to walk it up and down right now. But he has been there consistently. Apple retesting now 222, sorry. Meta strong today, Nvidia strong today. Nvidia at that 120 level. Gold been very strong again as they continue to hedge against the dollar. It's something I'm talking about a lot. Whoa, earthquake. Holy shit. Whoa, 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 this is big. Sorry, guys. Still going. Still going. You all right, Jess? Bear with me, guys. That's a big one. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, it was a big earthquake in California right now. And they're a bit late sending me the, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah. Wow. That's probably the biggest one I've had since I moved here. The aftershock now can feel rocking. Jeez. I was waiting for the stream to just cut and the electricity to go. Yeah. It's woken my wife up. All right. $5.1, they reckon. That's decent size. All right, back to work, back to work. All right, so creation of bull flag here. We have the initial balance set now. All right, we have the initial balance set. So we're looking. All right. Really, ideally, we get above the initial balance. Okay, and then we confirm trend day higher. You must be careful at this initial balance high of failures for rotation back to VWAP and initial balance low. Be very, very cautious. This will become very obvious if it's going to be bullish on the day. It will become very, very obvious. Yeah, it's not something you see on stream every day. I think Tanya actually had one in New York earlier this year or last year. We get them here fairly regularly, but that was pretty big and pretty sustained. I was getting ready to run out of the house, I'm not going to lie. But left you guys high and dry. All right, so just tagging that initial balance high for now. All right, so this feels to me like this trapped under here again. So this was the low that created the high. They came underneath it and they soaked, which is a good sign of potential bullish structure if we can get above to the upside. All right, they are soaking underneath for traps currently. But I would feel much more comfortable if we can get above the overnight high, the initial balance high, because then I know all the shorts are stuck. If we're just going to have an inside range rotation, okay, then we're just going to trade from the IB high to the VWAP, from the VWAP to the IB low, and back and forth until it's built the liquidity. A little bit like yesterday, guys. And we had a decent move down yesterday, but we actually were inside the initial balance for quite a while. And if you caught the stream, we took the short to the IB low, and then we took the long from the IB low to the IB high, and then we closed out at lunchtime at that IB high. It actually printed another 200 or 300 points above the IB high, because once you confirm above or below the extremes, you can get continuation. All right, so we have potential continuation here if it can get above with a target, all right, all the way up in these red boxes, all right, right here where all the stops are. Definitely to the lower side of that range. Let's put a horizontal line in right here, which is where we currently are, I think. All right, so we're currently stuck in the lower side of this range. So this date, 29th to the 30th of August, this liquidity right here. Okay, so if we can get through this, then we're going to target this. Make sense? Here we go. Here is the break now. All right, so we're trying to break that IB high, squeeze up, and then a retest and a hold would be beautiful. Again, we will always use liquidity in one way. So if we fail, we will use this liquidity for something like this underneath, and this would be a failed auction. But for now, you stay bullish. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, just pay attention to that 20-day. All right, ES is at the same point. Its 20-day is right above it. So I want to see continuation through a 20-day to confirm that we're not just doing a mean reversion trade on the daily. All right, so they might take some profit into there. If we can get above here, then we're going to get above the mean reversion trade, then really, really looking strong for trend continuation. All right, so always be aware of higher time frame targets. All right, so anyone who was bullish off the lower Bollinger Band on the daily, they would have been taking some profit into the 5-day and then the 20-day, all right, just like that. So you have to be aware. It can retrap now, all right, but we have just flushed the IB high. So need to be cautious here, because if they're truly going to dunk this now, they're going to attack VWAP and the IB low. Otherwise, they can think about a trap if they come in and re-soak. But notice how powerful that 20-day was. Exactly the same move on ES. They are at exactly the same point. Higher time frame narrative. And a flush down to VWAP from IB high. If we're going to get very heavy now, it is going to attack the IB low. This is why I'm very, very cautious. Retest of trend. All right, so those who have done my Bollinger Band lesson, it's free on YouTube. Those who are in the room and have done the course will be very aware about this play right here, right, that we just saw play out. Higher time frame. We talked about it at the beginning of stream, from lower Bollinger Band, the orange line, to the 5-day. Move this up a bit so you can see. All right, from the lower orange band, to the 5-day, the blue line, to the purple line. That is a very atypical mean reversion. Okay, if you look back in time, we like to retest. All right, upper Bollinger Band, 5-day, 20-day, 20-day reject, 5-day reject, lower Bollinger Band to 5-day, to 20-day, to 5-day, to upper Bollinger Band, rotation, upper Bollinger Band to 20-day. This is how the market rotates on the higher time frame, all right? Regardless of what other Twitter traders and smart money concept traders are telling you, this is always how the market will rotate. It will give you extremes. It will not base outside a Bollinger Band ever, and it will like to use the 20-day. The reason for that is the 20-day is the middle of your Bollinger Band. Okay, so if we're going to print lower prices, if this is the lower high on the daily, then this is a mean reversion. Then we can think about a flush down now to attack the 5-day, and that might take a few days, but for now that 5-day is around 950. Alternatively, the market is not ready to do that, and we are simply in a range, all right, a pinned range here, and that was your failed breakout, broke underneath here, flush down to VWAP. Now it's holding that trend that we put in. Notice this trend we put in about 20 minutes ago. So can it reclaim this now? Is this a giant trap, or are we going to get downside pressure? All right, so bid support came in at VWAP at that old breakout level right here, where we broke out from and squeezed. For now, they're holding it, but we have a huge imbalance here. So the question is, are we going to set a lower high in and around this area intraday to go lower? Very, very whippy action. When we're inside overnight range, when we're inside initial balances, we can expect a lot of chop. All right, we talked about it over and over again in the room. That 20-day is definitely an area of resistance. On the daily, we are definitely at areas of resistance. Thank you. Okay, so potential lower high here. Do we make lower low? Do we start rotation underneath VWAP to the IB, or are they going to retrap? Lots of questions here. There is nothing very clear right now, okay, guys, because we are in that liquidity building stage, right, where we're trapped inside range. So if I see something super clear, I will be sure to call it out of what I'm looking at. But for now, okay, the question is, do we make lower high, break a structure, lower low, rotation, or do we reclaim this whole thing and use this liquidity? It's always a game of liquidity. But this is a strong candle down, a very strong candle down. So I am expecting at least a retest of this, and if we get that, we're going to break down. If we hold this trap here, then we will start to squeeze back up, and any shorts that came in late, all right, if they chase this here, we can trigger them out. That's the game right now. It's very whippy. That candle was absolutely huge. It's a 100-point candle. Remember, we talked about it. We were talking about some of these candles being 60 points big on an M1. You do not want to be oversized. You must have your hard stops in for that exact reason. Can't see any news for that yank at all. Apple under 222. Real mixed bag in the Mag 7 here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 of Mag 7 are red and 3 of them are green, Meta being the strongest. Maybe Nvidia actually, percentage-wise. Let me drag this out and have a look. Yeah, Nvidia is your strongest on the day, up 2.3%. All right, so a bit like we talked about with the daily, with a mean reversion on the 20-day. All right, we've just done a mean reversion intraday from the IB high to VWAP. Okay, so continuation will be to IB low. We might want to retest this. Our buyers up there, our sellers up there, buyers up there, we extend and trap. Sellers up there, we fail, retest, fail. All right, I way prefer playing trend days, which is why I'm being very cautious today. We're not at an extreme of the market. We are in a market fight. We're at the 20-day, we're at daily supply. We have hourly candles, 4-hour candles looking bullish, and we have the daily looking to make a lower high. So they are going to be in a war against each other. Think of it as a battle. You might trade 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute charts. Institutions can trade anywhere from 15-minute charts up to weekly charts. Okay, so when they're not in alignment, you might have one bank, for an example right now, who is trading short or selling into the daily. They're looking to make a lower high. Let's say you've got another bank. These are just examples. This isn't what's happening, but to make it really easy, you might have another bank who's playing the hourly and they are looking to buy and bid up. All right, so you've got two big forces fighting each other here. Until they're both aligned and they both agree, okay, let's go higher, the market's going to chop. When they all agree, let's go higher or let's go lower, we get nice moves. Yeah, ES has not taken the news high. You're right, buddy. It got stuffed right underneath that 20-day. That news high on the ES is up around 82. All right, and we got stuffed at 76, and the 20-day is around 77. All right, QQQs. If there's too much action on here, just look at the QQQs. All right, here's the QQQs. This is basically your overnight range until we get outside of one of these, like we talked about, and show a willingness to base above or base below, we are going to chop. Okay, so this is grinding very nicely. The question is, where do we find sellers in here? Okay, so we can do a fib from the top to the bottom, and we've tagged into the golden zone. So can we create a bear flag here for sellers. It's just printed a buy signal because we're now above the flow zones, but this is when reading price action matters. Okay, you cannot just take signals. You must understand what price action is doing. I'm not taking a buy here. There's no reason for me to be buying here. This is an imbalance. All right, so do sellers come in here? So far they've come in the golden zone. Do we get a bear flag breakdown? Do they start to grind out all these shorts? And then we can think about something. Right, it's a bit odd today, but I'd actually much rather buy high on a breakout retest on a day like today. Not buying a breakout, not buying the lows. If we're going to have an inside day, then we will just trade the edges. We will short into IB high and we will long into IB low when structure provides itself for us to do that. Thank you for everyone joining the stream. All right, numbers going up day by day here. I hope you're learning something. I promise I will get this delay sorted tomorrow. Thought I had it ready for today. I might ask guys in my room, maybe we do a private stream later today just so we can check the delay, make sure everyone else has it set up for tomorrow. But if you're new to the stream, I've started streaming every day now and I will continue to do so until you guys get sick of me. And hopefully we don't get any more earthquakes. I'm waiting for the aftershock to come through. That would be fun for you all to watch when it does. And hopefully my light doesn't fall over and everything else, or the screens go crashing. That was a pretty big one, guys, I'm not gonna lie. My first one I had when I moved to California happened when COVID had just hit. It was April time and I was sat on the sofa and watching a film with my wife, and I did not know what was happening. I'd never experienced one before. So I'm kind of used to them now, but that was significantly larger than most I've felt. So it might just be that the epicenter was right here where I live, which is basically Venice, Santa Monica. Okay, so looking like that fib and the imbalance is holding us down right now, which is why we don't take the buy signal unless clear. All right, so if we think about structure, why didn't we take the buy signal here? All right, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high. Do you want to take the buy signal here? No, you don't. All right, because we've not confirmed anything. All right, more likely we retest this. All right, structure first before anything else. There we go, beautiful. So now that bear flag we talked about looks like it's starting to play out. That imbalance move looks like it's starting to play out. We do have this channel trend though and view up here. So continuation will be much, much nicer once we start to get underneath this and confirm lower prices. You have 12 minutes until the new hourly candle. All right, so we need to think about, where does the hourly candle close? All right, is it going to close on support and find bids? If you go to the hourly candle right now, that huge flush we did, let's just bring you over to it and open this up. All right, so the huge flush we did repriced this candle right here. If we do a horizontal line right here, okay, we started repricing it. This candle here, all right, flushed under halfway of this wick and reclaimed. Okay, so if we continue to reclaim and hold up here, you need to think about, where is pressure? Where is pressure? We are right now trading at POC. Okay, so this is where all the volume has traded today, or most of the volume. And notice on how the lower time frames, everything is so close. Initial balance, momentum cloud, deep pullback cloud, lower time frame algo, VWAP, previous day close. Like, it's so tight in here, guys, because it needs to build liquidity. When the market trends, all right, if we manage to get upside, let's say, all of these will start to open up. All right, so you'll get momentum there, you'll get deep pullback here, you'll get VWAP here. It will show you a fan, and that will tell you that the trend is strong. Okay, Okay, so for trending days, it will be very, very clear. So far, we're holding this channel. Remember, we put this channel in. Once we tapped this and made this and expanded, we knew that we were trying to have bid support upside. So the other way you could see this on something like an M5 would be higher, low, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low. Needs to break this to make a higher low, break this, and then we're really, really thinking about upside. Very, very tricky day so far. Very tricky day, guys. I will show you that I have barely traded at all, all right? Barely done anything. And that is a sim at the bottom, all right, where I just traded this morning to make sure it was working. I can show you, all right, I'm not lying, it's just a sim. Always put a sim trade on to make sure everything is executing properly when I get to my desk. So a little tip for you, just to make sure, say your trade copier is working or your orders are working or there's no lag on the system, I always trade one sim out the gate, even if it's not a setup, just a buy and a sell, just to make sure everything is trading correctly. Nothing worse than going to put a trade on a live account or a PA account and then it not executing properly or having major lag or something like that that you're not aware of. So this can still be a bear flag, but you need to be careful of what pattern. This W, all right? But this is large range, 100 points of whipsaw. Be patient, just be patient. You're not going to get an A+ trade every single day. We are holding the lower time frame algo right now. We are holding VWAP. ES is doing exactly the same. It is above VWAP, but we are stuck inside the initial balance. And that basically means we're going to have chop. All right, we're going to have range rotation and chop inside the initial balance. I know this says bullish, but I would not be particularly bullish on this right now. I cannot repeat it enough. The best bullish move, all right, I know it's buying later, will be this. That will be the easiest bullish move if we hold and print above. All right, because right now we are just repricing this. We're expecting this to get taken out, or at least to be retested. How many of you, and be honest, how many of you have got chopped up on days like this before? How many of you have never used the initial balance before to help you understand when you're likely to get choppy days and when you aren't? It's okay to be honest, I used to get chopped up all the time. It's the reason I created this whole system. It's the reason I used flow zones with initial balances, with lower time frame algos, higher time frame algos. It's to stop me trading. It's not necessarily to help me get into trades. It's actually to stop me taking trades that I shouldn't be taking, all right? Because if you can survive the market, you can trade again tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow presents an A+ setup. Maybe in half an hour, we get an A+ setup. Maybe we get a really nice trend play soon. Okay, but for now, I know that I don't need to be playing this. Yeah, Coop, I know you absolutely hate range rotation days. Coop's a very good trend trader, very, very good trend trader. That's the other thing, guys, all right? Know your strengths. You only need to be good at one setup to make money in the market. One setup. They're trying to see right now if this W is going to hold. One setup is all you need to get paid. New to me, it makes sense. That's great, Jerry. That's great. So let's say you should be tracking all your trades, right? Whether that's manually or TradeZella or whatever you're doing, but not just your profit and loss, but know what you're good at. So if you're a good trend trader, maybe you're really good at bullish momentum, all right? That means you're probably not so good at bearish momentum until you're able to get your brain to understand it's exactly the same, but the opposite. Maybe it means you're horrible at range rotation days. And those are the days where, you know, let's say like you got bullish here, you got flushed out, you got bullish here, and you take a break even when it flushes, for example. And you start to lose and lose and lose, and then you start to go on tilt, and then you start to overtrade, revenge trade, oversize, and before you know it, you've done major damage to your accounts. If you know you're good at one trade, just wait for that one trade. You don't need to be good at everything. There are guys that I used to trade with in rooms at like SMB Capital, and all they play are wedge breakouts. That's it. They don't touch anything else. They stalk the market for it. I can send you some of these traders so you can see. They're on Twitter, they post their stuff. They play one trade and one trade only. All right, I'm going to tell you now, if we reprice this whole thing and get through it, these shorts are going to get absolutely murdered. Right, so if they've chased and chased and chased, if, and it is a if, it's not a when, if we get through this, they are in big, big trouble, because that is a very nasty trap. Retest of IB high. This is key now. Retest of IB high. If ES can find some strength and take out that news candle high, all right, and NQ is going to follow, and we get through that 20-day, this will have provided the liquidity it needed. All right, because it failed to break down fully and retest here. They've reclaimed, which means they're trapped, they're trapped, they're trapped. And if we get through this, they are also trapped, and that is the squeeze. Very, very tricky, guys. I'm going to be hands off until it proves. It's just how I like to trade. Yeah, Ace have been chopped up in stuff like this before. Yeah, I mean, it must be so frustrating if, I don't know, shorts here are getting chopped up, longs are getting chopped up, like everyone's getting absolutely destroyed. Imagine you were short in this for the breakdown and you didn't take your profit and you didn't move your stop break even and you didn't have a hard stop. Look how it's respecting the initial balance high for now, all right? It's respecting the initial balance high. It's respecting the 20-day. But it's okay. Apparently it's lipstick on a chart. Laughable. Anyone see that last night? I love watching the Twitter beef between ICT and Pat Wylam right now. Makes me laugh. Pat had a decent day yesterday, made 20 grand in his PAs. He's put $500,000 into escrow for a bet that ICT will not trade against him and not win. So the initial balance flush yet again. Okay, right? So we are in major, major chop. This is why we are hands off, guys. Hands off. No reason to trade, right? No reason to take trades. I'm flat on everything. All right, so anyway, they are having major beef because Pat does not think that ICT will make 11,000% in the Robbins Cup, which he won't. All right, people don't seem to understand you can only trade one micro per $10,000 profit in the Robbins Cup. So you start with one micro. This guy's not even in the Robbins Cup. He's blatantly blown up. So Pat bet him $500,000. ICT asked him to prove he's got it. So he put $500,000 in escrow, sent a contract, hasn't been signed. ICT then last night decided he was going to trade paper with 40 NQ contracts to make a load of money, almost saying like he could do that in the Robbins Cup. You cannot trade 40 contracts in the Robbins Cup. He would trade one micro, that's it. But it's good for Twitter, isn't it? It's great for all their following. It's not realistic. These guys are laughable. But I'm with Pat here. He's not doing 11,000% and he's mad. The only way that's happening is if he shorts the top, the Dems get in, they ruin the budget, the dollar dies and the economy dies. That's the only way that's happening. And we'd have to have a halt down market over multiple days like the 80s. Till that happens, he's full of shit. Great teacher, not gonna lie, great teacher. All right, so starting to break that channel trend. All right, so remember, if we start failing VWAP, we will test the IB low. It will want to draw lower prices to the IB low. If they soak here yet again, they are going to drive up. All right, but for now, this looks like it's failing the initial balance. We look like we're in a very, very typical range rotation day. These are not fun to trade because you basically have to do the opposite of what you would naturally do. You need to be selling the edges and buying the bottoms. But the best way to do it, and it's not giving you an entry, would be with a failure pattern, something like this and something like this. All right, these are the easiest ways to play these. You don't just want to go and buy them and sell them because it gets near it. All right, under VWAP now, ES starting to flush. All right, so can we reprice underneath previous day close and come and attack the initial balance low? I'm going to remind you, higher time frame, we are still inside Asia London. All right, we are inside Asia London. If you do not get a trade today, guys, all right, and you finish the day break even with no trades because you're a trend trader and you don't like playing chop, congratulate yourself. Don't be pissed off. That's really good trading. Being disciplined is good trading. This is tricky, and I'll tell you why it's tricky. Structure-wise, this is where we found bid support. So we've done this. We might do this. We might do this. Right? This is not obvious, nice, clean action. Definitely not participating as a buyer right now. Where are we in the range? Think about where we are in the range. IB high, IB low, midpoint. No edge. There is no edge here right now. I will tell you when there is something very, very clear. We are breaking down. I know we're breaking down underneath this trend. Okay, but we have not made a lower low. We've made equal lows. If, again, there's your imbalance. If we stuff against this, then maybe we rotate. But these are tough trades mid-range, because as you can see, the market is very whippy right now. Even these candles, 70s, 40-point candles, guys. Most of you probably using 20-point stops. These are 40-point candles. Practice patience. If you're a range trader, by all means, take these. If you love trading initial balances, by all means, take the trades that you are good at. I'm not telling you not to trade, but what I'm telling you is flow zones are flat. There's your momentum flow zone. There's your higher time frame flow zone. There's your lower time frame algo. There's your VWAP, or there's your VWAP. All right, your higher time frame algo is all the way down here, and this right here is your anchored VWAP off the low that we put in yesterday. All right, so buyers technically are in control, all right, down here. So all the buyers that bought here, their average price right now, if they bid all the way up, is here, and that's where the higher time frame algo is. This is the real structure, this blue box that I put in, where we broke out yesterday, where the 5-day is. That's the level that I'm actually interested in playing if it offers it. I'm quite happy not to take another trade today if we are going to just continue to chop in this range. I know it's not ideal for stream, guys, but I would much rather keep you safe than have you getting chopped up. Feel responsible while I'm on stream, especially with knowing that there's a delay in here bigger than I want. I do not want to call something and, you know, it go the other way on you. All right, like I said, it will give false signals. Yes, it offered a buy up. Yes, it offered a sell down. But just think about structure. Structure first, always. The other thing, based on the numbers, all right, and I always thought this was going to be the case, but based on the numbers, we are looking at a 1/4 point cut. There were people hoping for a 1/2 point cut. We are looking for a 1/4 point cut in the market right now. DJ, yes, this indicator comes with the course. There are 2 different indicators that come with the course. So this indicator you're looking at is right here. All right, so that is absolutely everything right here. comes with the course. There is also another indicator which I use for higher time frame charts. All right, one-time fee. The course right now is 20 hours, very, very in-depth course. Comes with 2 indicators and access to the Discord room. Use code YouTube. You can get it right now for $399, a one-time fee. It will never go to subscription or anything like that. It is very good value, guys. I'm not saying that to be a salesman, but it is very, very good value. Okay, so have they trapped? Here we have swept that just maybe. Let's have a look. Yeah, we just about swept that. So now we're trading back inside. More chops. And now can it attack that IB high again? Remember, the market right now is trying to build liquidity. Once it picks the direction, it's going to use the liquidity. We are waiting for it to build the liquidity. Why are we waiting for it to build the liquidity? We do not want to become the liquidity. You will become the liquidity when you are trapped inside there. We're going to wait. Let everyone else get trapped, all right? Let everyone else get trapped. Once they start to exit their positions, we will join that trend if and when it presents itself. Nice one, DJ. Look forward to working with you. Thanks, Jerry. Means a lot. Glad you're learning. Thanks for showing up. So imagine you shorted here and it squeezed you yet again. So if you took a breakout short underneath this, which is what a lot of traders do, right? You were short at 62. You are now squeezed over 60 points. All right, 60 points very, very quickly. Just have some patience. Any questions, guys, while the market chops everyone else up? Do you have any questions? Anything you want to talk about, learn about, anything I can teach you? Let's use the time wisely. My hands have just about stopped sweating after the earthquake. Jeez. I might cut that and put it up on Twitter or something later. It would be a fun one. Right, so reclaim of that trend right now. Still building liquidity. This is still a range, all right? Still a range. All the EMAs are flat. It's not something I want to trade personally. Again, trade your style. If you are a range trader, if something is setting up that you like, by all means take it. By all means take it. This is not something I like to trade. We are nicely above that point of control and we are currently testing value area high. So higher time frame right here, we are testing the value area high. All right, if we get through this, we are going to try and test the initial balance. If we fail value area high, we will probably come back to point of control. Again, this is all to do with liquidity. Has it built enough liquidity? We are still inside London range. So if you think about this range, we failed to auction outside of Asia. We failed to auction outside of London. So we are doing this. All right, that's it. That is all we are doing until the market is ready to do something else because it's trapped enough participants. All right, so just think for any of you joining, like, did any of you trade small caps before your journey here? I know some of the guys in my room traded small caps. I used to trade small caps. Small caps are a really good example of the same type of traps we see on the market. Okay, so you've got, the difference is in small caps, you've got a group of people doing it. So let's say you've got a nasty Chinese ticker, okay, which has got a tiny float and has some bullshit news and you know it's worthless. It doesn't matter what it is. If they get enough shorts trapped, all right, they will keep bidding it up, soak, drop a little bit, trap more shorts, soak, drop a little bit. And once they've got enough trapped, all right, they absolutely hammer the buy, they squeeze the shorts out for the liquidity, you get that big volume candle, and then they are selling their position into the shorts covering. It is the same principle. It is the same principle. It's who's trapped, where are they trapped, and how can we use the liquidity. Exactly the same principle. Also, guys, just as a note, all right, when we have massive days like yesterday, you have to expect a cool off. You have to expect a consolidation day, okay, because people need to breathe. We talked about it at the beginning of the stream, but for those joining, after a big move, you should expect a consolidation day, or at least a consolidation session, right? So we might consolidate until lunch. You don't know, they might turn those turbo boosters on after lunch. We are subject to a lot of press right now, a lot of numbers coming out in the morning sessions. We have the election run up. Historically, September has been weak. Historically, run up into election has been strong. You've got seasonal traders fighting each other. You've got lots and lots of reasons for increased volatility right now. Still soaking. All right, so we have another buy signal that I'm going to personally ignore. We are in trend bullish, but for me, we are in chop because we are inside of that initial balance. But those two flushes being soaked are very interesting. The only thing that worries me, yes, we did steal the liquidity, but you could argue that these are equal lows. So, you know, buyers currently have their stops down here, right? This is where the buyer stops are, and this is where the seller stops are. So this is the range. As a reminder, on the daily, we are in those daily blocks, all right? On the daily chart, I should just make another whole screen for daily. Maybe I'll sort that out. On the daily chart, all right, these two up close candles, we are into those ranges. If I pull this down to the lower wick, right here, and the 20-day, we are right in and around that range. If we get through it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days worth of stops here. Okay, these stops here are where I think the market can go to if we can get through this range and start bidding up. Doesn't have to do it, all right? We are always in an if-or situation. Here we go. So the market now, through the IB high, finally, looking for a retest of that 20-day. And remember, we are looking for an auction higher if it can sustain bids, all right? It must sustain bids. Not looking to play a breakout of the IB here. ES also at its IB high. Now you have to be aware of ES. Is it just going to take the PPI news candle at 8:30 out, which would be a drive up into 81, 75 or 82 and fail? Or now do we get enough shorts trapped that we can sustain an auction to the upside? So I'm going to remove this, guys. I'm going to clean this screen up a little bit. So can we sustain an auction to the upside? If so, this is a nice W, breakout, retest, continuation. Beautiful move here. Okay, so now we're really interested in upside potential. We have the 400 level. Right here, there are people on the book there. We are waiting for a pullback to get long, right? You should be thinking about long patterns right now. So can we build a flag or a W or something to prove to us that we're going to hold here? If enough shorts are trapped, it's going to be a pain in the ass and it is just going to rip upside without any form of retest. In which case we just have to wait for like a pop and grind type thing, right? Something like this, and then maybe we get a deep one that we can join as a trap. Finally have expansion through that range. ES, all right, is right at its 20-day. NQ is through the 20-day. All right, so I'm going to leave the desk just for 30 seconds, guys. I've got to deal with something. look for the pullback to hold, all right, around this area. This is an area, okay? This is an area. It's not one line. So you need like a W or a flag or an inverted head and shoulder, something like this to give you a trigger long upside. Then you should be taking profit, a partial on the break here, and you should be holding a runner, because if the market wants to go mega bullish today, it's going to go for 700. If we start to fail here, the upside auction, be very careful, because we have a set level of liquidity we talked about right here. Okay, so if it's just going to fail the auction again and dive inside, you have to be very cautious. Right, so bullish until it proves otherwise. Give me 1 minute, guys, and I will be right back. All right. Sorry about that, team. Okay, so what do we have there? So far, failed breakout, but this right here is probably a fib pullback, which is soaking for now. But the candle down again was an aggressive candle. Okay, so I do not like to see these aggressive candles leaving imbalances this way if I'm looking to participate to the long side. All right, so there's no bullish reason to hold here. We did not create a flag. We did not hold the IB high. We have to still wait. We have to still wait. Rhythmic is down. Is it really, Bart? The whole of Rhythmic? Who are you trading with? Top Step or Apex or someone else? That's the first I've heard of it, but I'm not saying that you're not right. You might well be right. Right, so this right here, this imbalance, I have to be cautious of, because this is saying to me that sellers are still taking control, okay? Sellers are taking control when we are near supply, all right? But we might do the same thing here as we did here, okay? The problem is, like I said, there is a ton of liquidity left down here. I really don't like this being left here, because like we talked about, this is very possible when you leave. You know, this is saying, come and take me out the market. Do not like that. Very tricky day. Very tricky day. When I'm saying it can do this, or it can do this, it can do this, or it can do this, that is showing you that the market is undecided. But like we talked about, it did not give a structure here for us to get long. Did not give it. which is why you must not just long on a retest. It has to provide a structure. It's come underneath it. It is trying to hold this kind of level, but I'm definitely not convinced by this. And the momentum clouds, these green and blue ones here, are still pretty much flat. We would want to see it do this. Right, that is where we get conviction. Connection to Chicago is down for Bullnox and for Fast Track. Why just for those two? That's really bizarre. Maybe it's down for lots of them and it just hasn't hit everyone yet. Because the data feed is all from CME. So if it goes down on one, really it should be going down on all of them. Yeah, so a few of you saying it. All right, guys, so be very, very aware. Rhythmic is having issues with Bullnox and Fast Track, so it may be having issues elsewhere. It just might not have hit the wire yet. So just be careful. There's actually no reason for you to be taking something right now. Anyway, we might potentially get a head and shoulders here. If this level fails, if the initial balance fails and this fails, okay, it will aim for here. You see this? There you go. Right, this is low-hanging fruit right now. But again, we are inside initial balance, we're inside chop. They are on Rhythmic paper trade server, not a customer. Ah, okay, I understand. I didn't know Bullnox was on that. I knew Fast Track was on that because you don't pay fees on Fast Track, right? There's no fees at all for executing orders. Okay, here you go. So head and shoulder trying to play out. So failure of deep pullback, we'll go to lower time frame algo. We'll go to VWAP. We'll go to previous day close. We'll go to this level of liquidity here. Soak of this, all right, will be a reclaim and exactly what it did earlier here. I'm not thinking bullish right now. It did not give me any reason to hold and think of conviction higher. That candle there, yet again, how big is this candle? 80. Horrible. That is a horrible, horrible candle. A 60-point candle flush. Thanks for all the new viewers who are currently logged in. All right, we're flat currently. We're trading inside initial balance. We are playing initial balance rules until it proves otherwise. So far we have a failed auction outside of initial balance. We might, right, do something like this and come and attack these lows. Looking at the book right now, 310 is on the bid. Guys, you can play these setups if you want. Just because I'm not in a trade does not mean you can't play them, all right? Bear flag, this is the setup. We just talked about it. Rejecting initial balance high, rotation VWAP, TP1, rotation here, TP2, rotation TP3 would be initial balance low. All right, a breakout of this here and a run of this liquidity can take us to initial balance low. Just have to be very, very careful. On days like today, see money, take money. Is Apex or Top Step better? All right, so I have some videos on that. That really depends what type of trader you are, what you are looking to do, all right? If you are what I call a position trader, if you like to put a trade on for a number of hours, let's say, or minutes, all right, if you're looking for bigger moves and you don't want to think about intraday drawdown, then Top Step is better for you. So to give you an example, if yesterday, all right, you were looking to get long down here where we got long, or long here, and wanted to hold this whole move and not worry about these swing pullbacks, all right, then out the gate, Top Step is better for you because it will mean you do not need to worry about the intraday drawdown. Apex, once you get past that intraday drawdown level, all right, so for a 50K, once you make $2,500, I think it's actually $2,600, you don't have to worry about that. You can trade positionally. Okay, so obviously the benefits of Apex is you can have 20 accounts. What I like about that is it means on days like today, all right, so if you get long down here with say 2-3 contracts, okay, and you get a 100-point move, you lock in your money, maybe you make 200 points because you scalp out. Maybe, sorry, you make 100 points, maybe you make $200 or something because you scalp out. All right, remember, one micro over a 100-point move is $200. You don't need huge size. These are offering massive moves. One micro here, let's say you took 2, you scalped, you took some, $200. You do that over 20 accounts, let's say $4,000 day with very, very low risk. To do that on Top Step, you've probably got to size up. You can have 5 accounts on Top Step, which is great, but you've probably got to size up. So you see these guys on Top Step making a lot of money right now, like Lanto and guys like that. They are position trading, all right? But then you see guys like Kane. He took the time, he built the buffer, and now he's position trading on Apex. He took a $1.9 million payout a couple of weeks ago. So it really, really comes down to what type of trader you are. I have both, all right? I'm going to be very honest with you. I have both. I take fairly regularly weekly, bi-weekly payouts from Top Step, and I don't fully position trade in Top Step, but I will let my trades breathe a little bit more. With Apex, I tend to scalp, or I tend to be a little bit more aggressive in terms of my stop. I use small size. I'm trading 3 to 5 lots on the MNQ, all right, and I'm aggressive with my stop. All right, so into the lower time frame algo, that bear flag that we talked about now playing out, and it's going to seek liquidity here, guys. These levels here, it's going to go and run them because, like we talked about, all the buyers are right here. So we take these out, we get a flush, possibly down to IB low. We take these out, we trap, we're going to do the same crap over and over again. So remember we talked about earlier, on initial balance days, you play the edges. There's your failed breakout. There's your bearish structure. We need to try and see this get taken here. We take that, we come to here. All right, so TP1, VWAP. Remember we talked about it. If you're in the room, if you've done the course, the initial balance high, TP1 is VWAP. No problem at all. Okay, so you see it has signaled a bearish signal here, but the higher time frame is still in a bull trend. All right, once we get through this lower time frame, it's going to move to a liquidity build between the higher time frame and the lower time frame algorithm. That's where it likes to build liquidity. All right, so if you took that bear flag, well done. Make sure you took some out into VWAP. This is previous day close here, so this is a daily level. This white dotted line, daily level. Remember, we've said everything's very close. Red dotted line here is previous day high. White dotted line, previous day close. Green line, VWAP. These are the momentum clouds. So again, if we're going to build liquidity, it is going to use this and be very nasty again and have another attempt. Until then, you're better off just sticking with the short continuation trades until we take this out and looking for lower prices. Right, I'm always going to show you both possibilities because the market always presents 2 possibilities. But for now, you should be sticking short, looking to see if it runs these lows. I'd be very, very cautious if it keeps soaking off this. All right, this down close candle, which we expanded from. Same levels there were buyers at earlier, same levels we just covered into. On the book, all right, biggest order on the book right now is at 250, all right, so he's actually underneath that. So that is the liquidity we talked about. I am expecting price to come down and probably want to run these. Upside target, you have someone sat just underneath 340 who has started trimming, all right, he started loosening his position. So he's probably a seller and he's probably started marketing into some of this. All right, so hopefully, at the very least, you haven't taken a trade, and if you have taken it, hopefully you got this. Okay, you should be holding on to your runners, guys. If you got that, you should be taking TP here, next TP here, next TP here, and after that, if it's going to get weak, you have the anchored VWAP and the higher time frame algo. This is why you hold a runner. If you have a few micros, okay, this position right here into anchored VWAP, 120 from where you are currently up is almost 200 points. That's $400 on one micro. Hold your runners, guys, until it gives you a reason to get out. Hold your runners. The VIX is inside its initial balance, trying to hold the IB low and squeeze upside. The Qs are right inside pre-market levels. Dixie, I'm assuming, is starting to break down. It is trying to break down. I know that because gold is pushing up, because that is the hedge. So there's your TP again. If you missed TP first time over, there's your TP again into VWAP. I'm not competent enough to play this market, Nate Dogg. That is fine, buddy. That is a great comment. That means you know your strengths and weaknesses. All right, people get in trouble when they're trying to play markets that they're not good at trading. I don't know if you were here earlier in the stream, we talked about know your strengths. If you're good at one setup, stick to that one setup. If you're not good at this market, leave it alone. That's absolutely fine. Sit here and learn with me, but you don't need to trade it, all right? If this is not the type of market environment you're strong in, don't trade it. My hands are off the trigger right now, all right? You do not need to trade it if you're not fully comfortable. There will always be a market that will present itself for you and your trade. It won't necessarily be every day, all the time, but at some point it will present itself, and that's when you make your money. So remember, what will a squeeze look like here? Where is the liquidity? Start to see the patterns. This is where it will need to build the liquidity if it's going to have yet another attempt. All right, until that, you should be thinking about short continuation. Short continuation means structures of bear flags, things like that. But this is not lovely price action. But again, I cannot repeat it enough. I expect this to get taken out. It is low-hanging fruit, in my opinion. It is just my opinion. The market will do whatever it bloody wants. But this right here seems like an obvious level for it to come and attack. It is the underside of the range. But everything is pretty much pinned right now. So if this is going to break, this is a micro channel right here. And this really is the level it will want to back test, and then we should get continuation. If it back tests and get through it, then obviously we're thinking about bullish rotation. Again, I'm not going to take that bullish play. I'm going to be very strict with my rules. I am not taking a bullish play until it can prove to me it can stay above here. Sustain bids above here. And really now I'm very aware of that failed breakout. You have 30 minutes until lunch. The market really has done not a lot, guys. It really has not done a lot. So hopefully you have not traded very much. Okay, check out ES and its relationship with that 20-day SMA. I'm just going to quickly move over to it very, very quickly. There it is. This purple line right here. That's your mean reversion so far on the ES. Exactly the same as the NQ 20-day. All right, we're expecting lower prices. We are still expecting lower prices right now underneath VWAP to come and take this out. That's what we're looking for. So we are walking this down right now. Once this broke down, think about a line chart. It looks like this. Okay, we are looking for this now. I think if we break this very quickly together. We use the stops from both to run it. But reclaims can be a pain because shorts will yet again get trapped. But if you are short from these breakdowns, you're looking pretty good. Just need to be very aware of that channel, guys. Notice lower time frames moved into bearish, and just like I said, all the time we get under this lower time frame algo, this will get into a liquidity build stage all the way down to the higher time frame algorithm, which is sat exactly where the anchored VWAP is off yesterday's low. That's where buyers are actually in control. That's where good value is. It is much, much lower. So when we're in stages like this, I'm either looking for a very deep pullback or a breakout and a retest. Those in my room, just refer back to what we talked about this morning, right? The plays we were looking for. Right, these were the plays we were looking for this morning. Deep pullbacks or breakout and retest. We have not had either yet. Just walking price down. I think the market needs to flush. It needs to flush to give any conviction. Otherwise, again, you've got to be very careful of this type of nonsense. I cannot control the market, guys. Like, whatever it's going to do, it's going to do it. If it needs to trap more, if its ambition is to go upside and it's just trapping again, then that is what it's going to do, right? But for me, I would be sticking with that short off that bear flag, looking for a break of here. Right, if it starts to flip the flow zones, I'd be cutting this position. If it starts to taper here, right, so if we go from here to here to here, then it would be the last thing, like the last few days. All right, that's what you need to be thinking about all the time. Looking at the Mag 7, all right, 5 of them are now printing green on the day. The only ones left that are weak are Apple, which is still at 222, or above that 220 that's been key, and Microsoft, which is at 420, almost 421. Those are both red on the day. Everything else is green. Bonds are green. Most pairs are green. All right, so can we get a new bear flag here? I'd want to see weakness under VWAP and take out this. This is still what we're looking for. Take this out to take this out and run lower. Do not love that VWAP is here. Do not love that lower time frame algo is there. Everything is very, very tight right now. Well, I do expect lower prices right now. These are low-hanging fruits, okay? This is low-hanging fruits. Looks like we might be starting to get it. All right, so on the break of structure down there, guys, if you're in this, if you're in the previous bear flag, all right, take some partials. Take some partials, move your stop, break even. This is a see money, take money environment, and then you must hold on to the runner in case you get the puke. Okay, so it looks like this is trying to play out, all right? It has bid support here. That doesn't mean I think these guys are going to win. But this is where they keep trying to bid. When they get stopped out, this can provide the flush straight down to here. That's not a huge distance. Okay, so imagine you're a buyer in here, buyer in here, buyer in here, you get stopped out, sell pressure down to here, run these guys out, then we wait to see the reaction. $20 minutes until a new hourly candle. This looks good. I would expect this to sweep. I really would expect this to come and take it out. Only thing is that ES is right at VWAP. So need ES to let go of VWAP. ES is creating a big wedge over the last, I'd say, hour or so. We are pretty much right at that point of control, okay? We get under that point of control and that volume starts to let go, we can get the move down. It's very, very tight today, guys, very tight. And that point of control is not obvious because we have a huge amount of volume over this whole level. All of this is volume. Right, let's show you what I mean. Look at the point of control, look at the size of the volume each side of it. All right, value area high, value area low, and everything in between is pretty much all very, very even in terms of volume. All right, so there's just a lot of competition right here. All right, so nice retest of that bear flag that we put in. Can we get lower prices? All right, so remember your first bear flag was right here. This is your next bear flag. Can we run these levels? Run previous day close, take this out. Do we reclaim, taper, squeeze back up? Those are the questions. Constantly be asking yourself, who's doing what? Who's stuck? Not comfortable, don't trade it. Absolutely fine. Need to be cautious of the taper, all right? Taper. Reclaim, nasty. That will be nasty if it starts to do it. Needs to keep printing lower lows, lower highs. All right, but now we have all these wicks down here. Would like to see them get run. Even if we're going to go higher on the day, I would much rather clear everyone out with conviction first. Watching the tape, you have a buyer at 75. He is probably looking to get filled on a cover. And if he starts pulling his order and walking it down, then I'll know that he's definitely looking to get a cover and drag the market down with him. ES is still holding above VWAP. I still think we get lower prices here. This is what I think just from sitting here and watching it. But if we start to taper, I would be off my position. Here we go. This is looking good. Needs to run those wicks, all right? We don't want more creation of wicks. We want all those buyers to stop out. That's what will provide the liquidity to go lower. All right, so you should not be short in this area. You should have already been short. You should not be attacking these lows. We are building liquidity, guys. Building liquidity. I think we run it right now. This is what I was looking for. Here you go. So can we run these stops with conviction and take out the lower levels? Need to get through that previous day close. We're at it right now. We need to see previous day close flush for conviction. We are at point of control on the day. We are at previous day close. We are at the flow zones on the H1. We need to see a bigger dive down for conviction. Again, if we start tapering, you need to be trimming. Going to require patience. When it happens, it's probably going to be big. This is looking much, much better now. Okay, now you have a bid at 50 stacking up. So they're looking to get filled underneath these wicks that we talked about, all right? Underneath these stops. He's looking to get filled underneath this, which is a good sign that we're going to do a flush. Just want to see him maintain there, or even better, pull it and move it down. Then I know he's a short trying to cover rather than trying to provide bid support. Right, so I want to see a giant flush here. Take everyone out the market. Market's job is to make sure everyone loses. Just remember that. Right, so they lost up here. Can we make sure they lose up here? Can we expand this range that we've had over this session by making sure everyone loses? Remember, buyers are in control from here. We take them out, they stop out, we make sure they lose. Sellers were in control from here. All right, we took them out, they stop out, they lose. That's the market's job. It's being the casino right now. It's stacking the odds in its favor. Does not want to pay people who don't understand that. We get through this, all right, with conviction. There is IB low just hanging there, all right? All these levels here, I can put them in. These are potential cover points. It's coming, guys. It's definitely coming. It's looking good, like it might want to do it. Should be violent if it does it. Here we go. There we go. Beautiful. So there's your first run. Now the reaction here is key. We want to see a dive down. We do not want to see a soak at 50. Remember, that's where that bid support is. Now they're adding at 40. Now they're adding some at 35. So can it flush, or are they genuine buyers that are just looking to run everyone out and soak back up? But you should have taken some profit here. Here we go. Looking very, very good now, guys. Very, very good. So just think, all the liquidity built in here that were buyers, they are all underwater. They are sweating right now. Make sure you are taking profit on each of those and moving your stop down. Protect the profit you are making, please. Remember, we talked about it. This is effectively the neckline. Okay, so right, this is effectively the neckline. You want to see this break with conviction to attack these levels through here and could view up. All right, reclaim, then we're going to do the tapering that we talked about. I will show you what you have to be very, very careful of reclaim. Okay, the same principles. If they soak, soak, soak. Reclaim VWAP, reclaim this, run these out back to higher day, all right? Don't chase lows. You do not chase lows on a short, especially on an inside range. Okay, so we run these stops now. You want to see this protect here. What I don't like is all these wicks, but you want to basically see it protect this level and run this level to hit this one. Okay, something like this. A bull trap would be something like this, over this, and then down. All right, but for now, stick with short thesis. Look for next target. Okay, does all of this make sense? Hopefully some of you caught that. Should be holding runners. Those of you who did enter on these bear flags, you should be holding runners for lower prices. Let me know if you caught it. Let me know if you're just learning. It really helps me with feedback. Okay, so we are stuffing against the previous day close right now. That white dotted line is the previous day close. We are stuffing against that. Want to see that and VWAP stay heavy. If those don't stay heavy, then that might be enough and we can return back inside the range that we created this morning. VIX is trying to break out, okay? Lovely, Brian, great work. Love to hear it. All right, so if VIX breaks out of this level and rebalances, it's going to have a push through 18. If VIX wants to attack that IB high or attack the 1850s, 1860s, a breakout of that, all right, and then we are going to get into bullish order flow on the VIX, which means we will be very bearish order flow on the market, on the indexes. No worries, Coop, that's also fine. I know you are much, much better in trends. We talked about it, it's absolutely fine. Okay, so potential bear flag stuck up against previous day close. Right, you would want to see previous day close here or VWAP. Right, and then you want to see it roll and run these stops. Roll over, run these stops, run the next stops, and then maybe lower prices. But the low-hanging fruit trade has happened. Remember these targets? That's your low-hanging fruit, that's happened. This is the next low-hanging fruit you should be targeting. Called it in Apex. That's brilliant, Acer. Really happy. All right, so I don't think we've had a losing trade on the stream yet, which is amazing because we will have losing trades, guys. It is part of what happens. But so far, since last Friday, we are all winners. Remember what we said. If it reclaims, all right, and uses the liquidity, please be careful. This is the liquidity. This is liquidity. This is liquidity. This will be a reclaim and reshove up higher. Be very, very cautious of these moves. Until that point, you stay short. You are looking for creation of bear flag or some sort of structure. These wicks here, all right, are not the best. That means it's low resistance liquidity run. It can take that before going lower. It can take it before going higher. But we're just going to stick with short thesis until it proves otherwise. If we get a very bullish candle here, then you have to understand shorts are probably stuck underneath this cover point, which is why we said take profit, take a partial. VIX failed to break out of that 18. All right, VIX failed to break out of that 18. We are still stuck inside range. Look at the Qs, all right? Overnight range, we are stuck inside. Look at Asia London, right? Asia London, we are stuck inside. Very tricky market conditions. See money, take money, hold a runner. It's the best you can do in these conditions. Okay, where would the taper be? Here, we taper across to like here, okay, and it might run these and use it. It's everything we've been talked about. It's why you do not add at the lows. You wait for the structure. It has not created the bear flag we were looking for. All right, right here, we're just breaking upside right now. Breaking upside. So reclaim a VWAP here, retest of the lower time frame algo. Do bears come in the lower time frame algo, or are they going to run these stops? We've run one side of stops. Are we now going to run these stops here? Or do we continue lower? Do we use this block to continue lower? Do we do a head and shoulder here on a micro pattern, something like this? Use that liquidity to run lower. That's a strong reaction off the lower time frame algo. Want to see it get under previous day close. It's also previous day high right next to the lower time frame algo. You have 6 minutes until you print a new hourly candle and we go into lunch. All right, so it will be interesting what institutions do at that time. Okay, so here is the bear flag now playing out. This is a new creation of a bear flag playing out, stuffed against that lower time frame algo. So maybe now we take this breaker structure right here, all right, and we use this for lower prices. Remember, the change of character would have had to happen over here. We pulled back, we're looking for breaker structure, lower prices, until proves otherwise. If I'm showing you bullish structure, all right, it's just so you're prepared if and when it happens. Okay, we are in downtrend, all right, bearish trend, lower time frame. The flow zones are red and pointing downwards. Okay, we will move to bullish momentum, lower time frame, if the bullish play starts setting up. I just prepare you ahead of time so you can see it. There's always an if or. But we are sticking with shorts until proves otherwise. Until proves otherwise. This here is a lot of very easy stops, all these wicks, which is the one concern. All right, sellers have their stops right here, for sure. We are pretty much at the midpoint of the range as well. So you will want to see VWAP stuff here for conviction for lower prices. If you zoom out and you look at an M5 or an M10, it is not pretty today. There is a buyer on the book now, down at 240. All right, so that's probably a cover underneath that low. This I do not like the look of right now. The volatility is coming into this. This is because we're coming into a new hour. All right, so it matters. Remember, we always talk about it matters how we close, how we open on the hour. Look at how disgusting these hourly candles are. All right, huge wicks up top, some decent sized wicks down below, closing if we stay here near point of control. Not a pretty look, right? It is not a pretty look. Make sure you are always checking higher time frame. We need to see sell pressure here. All right, need to see sell pressure there. This considered consolidation on the longer time frame. On the higher time frame, yes, it is considered just consolidation. So if you look at a hourly chart, yesterday was a huge move up. Now we are consolidating. All right, so effectively what you want to ask yourself is, on the hourly chart, can we build something like a bull flag, which would mean an hourly pullback for a move to the upside? Can we build something like a W pattern on the hourly chart? Can we come and test some levels of support? Because support is actually a long way down on the hourly chart, all right? You have all those bullish moves up, all these structures up, right? Where's support? It's not until down here, really. You could argue this grey box, which is why I've put it in. But the best support is where we broke out from. So it could come a long way down on an hourly chart if it wanted. Okay, it could do this and then this, right, over the rest of the week. It might need 2 weeks, might need 3 weeks to do it. We don't know how long it's going to need. But the support is much better lower than it is up here. If it just consolidates on an hourly chart, then it can do something like this, flag. All right, so we're always looking at the higher time frames. Hourly chart is bullish, all right? The hardest thing right now is the hourly chart is bullish, but the daily chart is bearish. Okay, yes, we have bullish momentum on the daily chart, but we are in a downtrend. So if you think about how the market moves, right, on the daily chart, what we've done is a swing down, a swing up, a swing down like this. We didn't retest the low, and we are here. Okay, so this is supply, So can the daily chart do this, take this out, take this out? That's the question. In the hourly chart, we're at this point. We're a momentum up. All right, so the hourly chart and the daily chart are not in a pro trend. They are not in alignment with what they're trying to do right now, which is why it's a battle. If you want to learn more about that, do my course. I talk about pro trend, counter trend, multiple time frames. The best trades will always happen. The easiest trades will always happen when there is alignment. If you have a weekly wanting to go higher, a daily wanting to go higher, 4 hour wanting to go higher, an hour wanting to go higher, and the lower time frame is ready to go higher, then every single time frame trader is bullish. You will get big expansive moves. That's when you're in a nice trend. Things like the 2021 bull market, everything was pointing higher, okay? Those are the easy trades. If you can get through a market like this and wait for a market to become bearish multiple time frame or bullish multiple time frame, you will have it much, much easier. Notice, guys, it is trying to make a micro head and shoulder here. It's a big question. Can it do it? But you are underneath this that we talked about. So if we get a rejection here, we will run these lows. We will try and attack this. We called this out ahead of time. Use small size. You do not need big size in this. All right, it's very whippy. Don't get stuck. That buyer is still at 240 on the tape, okay? Still at 240 on the tape. You have a seller who keeps flashing around 275, all right? So you have to see if he gets filled before we go lower, or if we just flush, or if he is just gonna drag the market higher. A lot of games happening here. Market feels like it's starting to roll, right? Amazon now red. Apple now red. Microsoft still red. Google is still holding, Meta is still holding, but they're giving back a little bit of gains, and so is Nvidia. All right, so we're pretty much balanced on the Mag 7. We're in a new hourly candle here, guys. New hourly candle. All right, so think about the last hour's low, the last hour's open, and the last hour's close. Don't worry about the high. The high is a long, long way away. But look at the hourly candles. Think about it as support and resistance, all right? If you're playing off an hourly chart, if you are an hourly time frame player, where would your S&R levels be, all right? Your resistance right now would be the previous hour open, wouldn't it? Towards 81, all right? And your support level 1 would be around 65, and your support level 2 would be around 50 or 45. Okay, so if we expand through this hourly open, which it's trying to do right now, the previous hourly open, and it can get above and base, then it has a potential trigger to squeeze back up and test the hourly highs. Hopefully that makes sense. Use the hourly candles. They are providing you information. Retest of view up here. So lower time frame. If the hourly wants to expand, lower time frame, all right, you can get tapering and the creation of the W. Reclaim, expand. These are the things you're thinking about. It is choppy today, guys. I'm not going to lie. This is very choppy action. It's very hard action to trade. You are in a sell signal until you take out technically these levels here. Okay, lower time frame is technically in a sell until you take out these levels here. You are into lunch now. You're going to see a drop off of volume. Be very, very prepared. If the market has done all it wants to do, okay, if we're going to trade back through VWAP and reclaim VWAP, where are we going to go in terms of initial balance? We're going to taper, and we're going to try and retag the initial balance high from VWAP. If we're going to sell VWAP, we're going to try and come down to the initial balance low. You are at the midpoint. You are at VWAP. You're at midpoint of the day in terms of price action. You're also at midpoint of the day in terms of timing. All right, I'm going to give this a few minutes longer, and then I'm going to log off for the day, guys. There's nothing here that I particularly want to participate in. We called that one short, which played out. There was a continuation on it, and that's all we've really had so far. Let me know if there are any questions you have before I go. Do not get trapped trying to attack this short, guys. If this wants to expand, it's going to expand. If it's finished its job for the day, it is going to reclaim the VWAP and it is going to expand to that IB high. Please do not get trapped. Catch you later in the room, Coop. Have a good day. No worries, Nate. So just remember, if enough shorts got caught here, it might want to punish them and take out these stops we talked about. It's very, very tight here, guys. But you have this candle right here is a strong candle. All right, this is a strong sign that maybe they're starting to cover. If it holds this candle, I'd be very cautious about this move. If it holds this candle right here where the flow zones are. Because if it does that, then the trend short-term, lower time frame is likely to flip. No worries, Brian. Have a great day. Nice trade, man. Glad you caught that. No reason to get long yet, guys. There's no reason to get long. You're just looking at what price is going to do. If it starts to reclaim, if it builds this flag out, if it starts to squeeze, then you're going to get a move back towards the IB high. Big ifs right now, big ifs. Market is in balanced range. It is just at VWAP. All right, ES is also at VWAP right now. You are mid-range on the day. So it's looking good for at least a run on this liquidity here that we talked about. So you need to be aware. Be aware. Tapering, inverted head and shoulders. If it runs this liquidity and it uses it, it will expand back to the IB high. Remember, this is the candle you're looking at. On that W, that expansive candle, it would need to hold that to have any bullish momentum upside. All right, any bullish momentum. Something like this would need to play out. Don't just buy this. It's a high risk buy. It can just flush on you very quick. You're into lunch. It's going to be nasty. This is going to be a giant flag. This is the candle and it's starting to fail. It needs to soak right now for bulls to have any chance of rotation. We are in mid-range, you are in lunch, it is a choppy day, all right? This is what you get. Market making indecisions, trying to build liquidity for the next move. Okay, so it's soaking off that imbalance and it is trying to claim VWAP. All right, if we were in a normal time frame right now, then I would be thinking and waiting for higher prices to prove themselves for that rotation. But we are into lunch, which means it's far, far less probable to play out. Okay, but if they're going to start covering, we'll get a rotational squeeze to IB high. I'm going to leave you now, but I'm going to leave you with some thoughts, okay? Zoom out your mid-range, right? Your mid-range, you have some targets. Where is the liquidity for the sessions? Okay, here and here. You swept this liquidity. It might put in a W here and try and squeeze. A squeeze out, again, will take you back towards the IB high. You have an imbalance in here. It might want to reprice, and you have that 20-day. The best long, all right, this is a rotational long, but the best long, again, will be if you complete this whole move, base, and expand. Again, the best short will be very, very similar. It will be a move rotational, complete this move, expand. Here is your anchored VWAP, all right, and expand under here, maybe like this. Those will be your trend days. Those are your trend triggers for the afternoon session. It is possible it wants to trend in the afternoon session. A lot of the time when New York session is pinned in a tight range and Asia and London's pinned in a tight range, you can get expansion in the afternoon session. Please, please, please use hard stops. Be aware any news right now can move the market because we are very, very tight in range here. This is a very small range compared to what we did yesterday. All right, it's still big enough, 220, so you still got 160, 180 points there. But if we start expanding through that, everyone inside this range is going to stop out and you're going to get big violent moves. All right, so please trade safe, always use hard stops. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace out.